We're back here to this Ethobot drama, and this time, just like what I did before, here's 3 of the other people who have recently come out about the situation. One of them is Emma, Daisy's voice actress, 1 more people, and a group of anonymous people, since they doesn't want their reputation to be, in fact, ruined. But just know it's really bad. So firstly, here's Emma coming out about her situation with Ethobot. So Emma, who worked for Ethobot and also plays character Daisy. Now, if you don't know about Daisy, here she is. And she has also get a lot of roles, such as content manager, animator, actor, streamer, and so much more. Now, according to her, she got overworked to exhaustion, mentally manipulated, financially screwed over, and Ethobot also flew out to meet her when she was a minor. And she met him when she was a minor, also during a difficult period, and she formed a close friendship to him. Unfortunately, the friendship became controlling. He guilt-tripping her and isolating her too. And she also got overworked when she was a clear minor, who's still in high school. She also got called by her full legal names, get yelled, humiliated by him, and while doing the work, she received no financial compensation from livestream. Anywho, here's her story. So she met Ethan through a friend after escaping her previous toxic boss, who's also a YouTuber. Later on, Katkun and Emma were a friend group, and she happened to just hang out with him, and him only for 24/7. But that relationship became toxic once again. He lectured her, tore her apart, and was being manipulated to only be with him. Also, she was around at the time, being at school. So she got overworked both by him and the school, and she has to sacrifice so many hangout and club just for him. And Ethan doesn't really help her much about this. He even manipulate her into overworking and stress, guilt-tripping her for taking a break. And by the near end of her work, he took away her content manager role. But it was so suddenly, and she, with Mace, saw a lot of unfairness of the workplace, when people who have much roles and time for him didn't get payment they deserved. Here's where Emma apologized to the co-worker and show her working at school. Next up, it's going to be about her streaming with him. So while she do stream with him, or streaming herself on his channel, at the time she didn't know she should be getting paid. But after she knows she need to be paid, he still expect her to do free stream, no matter what. And it took 4 to 6 hours of her time every week without being paid, but she still have to that job for free in character and got forced to reading chat by him, just like a real job, which she wasn't interested anymore. And she still got yelled at before and after the stream. Also, a few more things. When he got the idea of Daisy being a Yandra, she said she wasn't comfortable with it, but his audience decided to blame her instead for not wanting to do it. Next, here's her situation about Daisy YouTuber model. She basically used more than $700, and based on her, she want to use it for his stream, but she doesn't want to give it to him. And then, Ethan was kind of forcing her to give it, or else it won't be used. And she can't even use it on her own stream, so basically, she wasted $700. And the new voice actress used it, and she only get to use it once, without any payment back. Here's her YouTuber model in one of his stream, DM with her and the artist, and shown that she paid for it. Next up, here's how he manipulated people. He'll made you feel bad for not telling personal things for him, because if you did, it will feel like you hid something from him. And when you got any single problem, you don't go to therapy, you go to him. They were scared to even reaching out to outside people for help. For example, Emma got seen as a family when he feel like it, but when she got lectured, he just completely unknown about it, even though it was the bonding from him. It also make the people feel bad to delay their work, no matter what their personal life is, and that's why so many people are afraid of leaving. Next up, he made Emma scared of being replaced as the voice for Daisy. She was told she is needed, but later on, it proved to be false. He made a community post and giving the character a new voice actress. Later on, she broke down into tears, fear that she was no longer needed, being talked down like it, drown herself with doubt, and having her accomplishments undetermined. Here is the poll. Next up, he was constantly yelling at her, both privately and publicly. For example, one of the last long-form recordings Emma was in, she was talking to another voice actor after not being in a recording for a couple weeks. Ethobot started telling Emma off, and later on she was told by the person she was talking to during recording that Ethobot had been yelling at her. It made her realize that she couldn't tell if Ethobot was yelling or just talking with her anymore. Frequently was humiliated in public calls within the work Discord server for small things, such as simple voice line overlooks or small scheduling mistakes. Next up, she also got discouraged from dating and got distance from her friend group. Here's the story. It all started when Emma was invited to play Among Us with a co-worker that she wanted to get to know better. So she told Ethobot that they would hang out afterwards since their hangout would be delayed by around an hour. He made her feel bad about hanging out with others even though she tried to reassure him and explain herself. Ethobot told Emma that she was taking him for granted, and Emma instantly apologized for how she made him feel. But she just wanted to see one of her friends and game with her for once, and hope he could understand. Ethobot called her real quick and crashed out in a voice call. He was harsh and loud, roughly repeating the guilt-trippy things he said via text. Emma started to get cautious around other people, like she was very careful when Ethobot wasn't there so as to not upset him. Emma was fully convinced she was in the wrong over the entire Among Us thing. Emma specifically remembers Ethobot mentioning something in the lines of, "Why are you joining Mace's Among Us when you know I can't join?" Mind you, he hadn't reached out to Mace at all. In the last year of high school, good news, she actually makes friends. And she also have a boyfriend. Good job for her. But Ethan will ruin it all by saying it will affect the work, or hang out between the SMP group, or maybe even upset him. Emma realized Ethobot was just slowly isolating Emma away from her SMP friend group, intentionally or unintentionally. Ethobot was trying to put the other friend group in a bad light. Also, when Emma told Ethobot that they wanted to invite him to the server, Ethobot was welcome in the friend group, but Ethobot said something in the lines of, "Emma, I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't want to see you in a VC with them." Ethobot talked negatively about everyone, genuinely everyone, even his own Minecraft home survival server with friends, McCor, maker of Blockbuster. Ethobot said how his own friend home server sucked. He was critical of many friends. He also villainized Mace a lot. He talked bad about him all the time. Ethobot criticized him a lot, stealing content. Ethobot was pissed about reusing voice lines, which Mace got permission for, which got Emma scared when they collabed with Mace. When Ethobot just started out with long form, he asked Emma, "Do you think I'll be criticized for copying Athma's thumbnails or taking inspirations?" Emma said she thought it'd be fine since lots of YouTubers do that. Here's a screenshot showing how Ethan wanted her to quit so that it would look good for him. Now here's basically a screenshot about one of his video, and again, it contained minor, which, in some of the older standard, it probably wasn't that bad, but now from today's standards, it's bad enough to show this in front of children. But why didn't he stop this since it's bad for content? Simple, money, and view. It got so bad, and that he started to make Emma feeling uncomfortable while making it. And the reason why she didn't speak out is because that the speak out could lead to an argument that could lead her to bad thoughts. Here's the video. Now I'll show you the screenshot where he used her real names. But just a reminder, her full name and her IRL name has been censored for privacy purposes. And according to her, she hates anyone using the real names, and I don't even know if Emma is her real ones, because if it does, I'm sorry. Back to the video, Ethan said that he uses her name, sometimes her first and last name on numerous voice chat, someone's DM, and DM's convos, which is basically crossing boundaries, and that's not good. Here's how they met each other in real life, and how she was uncomfortable with it at the same time. When Ethobot met up with Emma, 17, and a fan commissioned art from them, 16, August 24th, 2023, they went to an anime expo in Canada where they also briefly met with a friend of Emma, 16. Ethobot brought his family, brother, and mother. and Fan came with her mom. They went to the convention, the mall. Emma and Fan's mom, Ethobot, Etho's mom, Fan, had dinner together. 1 to 2 days of the 4, Emma couldn't hang out with him, and Etho guilt tripped her over it. Etho paid for all of this, and you couldn't even make the time? Emma said she tried, but her parents were so strict she couldn't. Emma told him she couldn't do it, and was even surprised she could hang out as often as she did. Emma thought Etho could tell how badly she wanted to hang out with him, but Etho made her feel really bad about the fact that she couldn't spend more time with him. Even when Emma couldn't hang out, they'd call. Etho would show her things and what they were doing, like the aquarium, checking out the convention center, etc. Emma felt really bad about that experience and how much pressure Etho put on her over that. The entire interaction also just felt odd. During the expo, at that moment, I thought I was having a good time. Looking back, however, there were so many weird things like how he'd pulled both mine and the Fan's hand. Now, after reading a few of the last paragraph, I can see how deep it actually affected her and how much it affected her teenage year. No one should have go through that, being totally abused and manipulated like that. It's actually horrible to see what you were affected. If you see this, I wish you good luck, and for the best, I hope that he will change. I hope so. Now, let's go to McCor. So, McCor was the owner of the Blockbuster mod, which is a mod that helped both Mace and Etho for their video. Without him, their channels probably won't exist. But here's what happened. Despite expressing gratitude and giving promises both publicly and privately, he didn't promote the mod that much beyond a couple of impromptu live streams, which he later deleted, occasional mentions on Twitter, and to his close creator circle, leaving McCor feeling betrayed due to empty words and broken promises. Ethobot stopped crediting Blockbuster mod in January 2023, after confronting him about unfulfilled promises. Upon confrontation about empty promises, Etho donated $100, but it got rejected. Fallout worsened after attempts to reconnect. Prior to the BBS mod development announcement, Ethobot tried to buy out BBS mod in the infancy of its development by implication. McCor refused and stuck to crowdfunding via Patreon. Ethobot tried to support BBS mod by donating $10 per MO. He said he wanted to support McCor, but McCor countered that $10 was too low with the amount of money he earned from Blockbuster mod. He said it's the best he can offer right now and was rejected again. Later, an ex-employee, Sershan, confirmed Ethobot raged over the rejection of his sponsorship. Ethobot tried hiring modders to create a similar mod for himself, but gave up due to high costs, $80,000 to $110,000. Reports emerged of him mistreating and underpaying staff. Here's the video where it got a lot of minor character, voiced by some of the minor voice actor or actress who roleplay to fall in love with him. One of them is Daisy. Here's also 2 more character in the video. One of them is his server admin on the roleplay, and one of them is an already fictional character who is 16. Etho wanted to move everyone into a physical location, a content creator house, but instead it's all people that work for him. Really creepy with how much he pushes the family dynamic. And keep in mind a good chunk of the people working for him are / were minors. This has come up in conversations with McCor and Animal Mace. Animal Mace mainly talked about it with him over voice chat, but still has some DMs showing it. Emma has also had several conversations about it with Ethobot, some of which almost felt like convincing her with a personal chef, etc., actively pitching the idea. Here's the proof. Anonymous members of Ethobot's Discord community have reported the following. Intimidates members in his Discord server, having told some they'll be sued for using his nickname on random mobile games. Etho dunking on members in public that ask for animation advice, going so far as to saying they have no talent or potential and shouldn't get into animation. Essentially told them, my animation good, yours bad, look at it. And this is the one where I actually felt very disgusted. So, there's a character called Chloe, who is basically just like Yuri from DDLC, if you think about it. She's basically a shy girl who is scared to confess her feelings to Etho in the story. But what we talk about is not about her character, is about the voice actress for her. Ethan found her voice actress, who's 14 to 15 years old. And to have a 14 to 15 years old who's seemingly fallen in love with him, you probably feel how bad it is. But the lucky thing is, Emma and another worker has convinced him to not work with her, and finally, he did. Here's her character, and also, here's the screenshot about him considering his workplace as family, but later on, it wasn't a family anymore. It has become a typical average family in my neighborhood, and my country very toxic. Now, that's all about our Ethobot situation. I probably won't do these kind of thing anymore, as that wasn't my style, but I do remind you that please support the victim in the description. I'll put a link for the document if you want to read it. But yeah, that's all from me today. Thank you so much for watching, and the If I stuff continued.